Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson limited in Monday's practice with a quad injury. Jackson leads the league with 28 touchdown passes, 22 yards away from Michael Vick's single-season quarterback rushing record. He's yet to be sidelined since he took over as Baltimore's starting QB. The Ravens practice later today, and we'll have an update at that time. The New York Post reporting that Jets running back Veon Bell was spotted bowling in New Jersey late Saturday night. This notable because it was after he was ruled out of Sunday's game against the Dolphins with the flu. Coach Adam Gase was asked today about it and said he won't discipline Bell because he did not violate a team rule, but he will speak to him. Bell is scheduled to speak to the media at 4 o'clock Eastern today. Coach, I will start with you. Are we making too much of this? Big deal, not a big deal. There you go. You take it from here.
I mean, my goodness, are you kidding me? Are we really talking about, do we have to say if you're too sick to play, you should be at home? I don't think that's asking too much. I just don't understand this kind of thinking. I really don't.
Well,
it blows me away.
It's always interesting to me when they say they didn't violate a rule, but you can't think to list everything, right? Like, I mean,
it's a common sense rule. If you're too sick to play, get your butt in bed and get some rest. What the heck?
Well, I guess he thought even if I'm in bed resting, it's not going to help me play tomorrow.
I guess.
And, he wasn't in the hotel. I think this is just one of those things you have to understand perception. And even though it's not breaking a team rule, and this is difficult to me because I think that in the locker room that has been very tumultuous, I feel like Le'Veon Bell has led very well from there. After the trade deadline, he came out and he said, you know what, I want to be here, even though there were rumors, even playing with Luke Falk at the quarterback position and trying to do everything he can to win. So I believe he's done well. This is a mishap. This is a misstep. This is being unaware. This is being almost disrespectful to the point that you understand that your teammates are getting prepared to play a game that you cannot participate in. And in that, you should have enough respect for them, enough respect for your organization to think ahead. And listen, Coach, it was either one of you two just now just said common sense. I can't remember which one it was.
It was me.
Yeah, Coach said common sense. The thing is, common sense ain't common.
No, apparently
right?
not.
It's not something that everyone has. And everyone doesn't think deeply enough into every situation to realize what the consequence of this could be. And I think Le'Veon Bell didn't do that in this situation.
I don't have much more to add.
I have a problem with it. If I'm a player, I have a problem with it. If I'm a fan, I have a big problem with it. If I'm a coach, I have a problem. On every level, I just don't understand. Now, it's not that big of a deal. He wasn't going to play anyway.
Right.
However, what message are you sending? It's just
right.
So what do you say to him?
There's just no self-awareness, right? Like there's no just kind of like, hey, this is and by the way, this is going to create a problem for my coach and my teammates are going to have to answer questions about it and all that kind of stuff. Like it's just not thinking.
I think the thing from the player side is as if, like if you're a player, you understand that something like, to me, the flu. Like I have to be really sick, right? I have to be extremely ill to allow you to rule me out. And even then, on Saturday night, I'm gonna get pumped full of fluids. I'm gonna do everything I can to try to come in the next morning and convince you that I know you ruled me out, but I think I can go.
If I'm good to bowl, I'm gonna play.
Yeah, so that's the problem.
Understanding for me that it would still be a bad look. It is a tiny bit different if it's a broken bone or a real injury where he's got it. I don't know, but the flu you could conceivably get better by rest and
and they're playing Thursday, so there is some concern over timetable. You don't have a whole week to get better. I don't know. It's just
a bad look. So we'll see. Again,
it's a bad look. But what did he bowl though?
Yeah, is he a good bowler?
What was the game? How good was he?
Did he help his team win?
Was he close to 300? Maybe he's a really good bowler.
We need more reporting.
We need more reporting.
That's what we got to do.
Weren't you telling me I had on orange leather pants? So
one of the reports said he was in
my point being, he wasn't trying to blend in.
Yeah, he wasn't exactly.
You can see that, but I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. I got nothing else either. All right, we wrapped up Week 14 last night in Philadelphia. It was a critical game for the Eagles because it will help in their effort to keep pace with the Cowboys in the NFC East. It also happened to be the return, if you will, at least since Week 2 of Eli Manning, 1 year to the date of his last win. Now, it was a rainy, soggy night, second quarter, 3rd and 13. Manning to Darius Slayton slips a tackle, and into the end zone, Ryan, he goes.
What he did learn watching Daniel Jones is that Darius Slayton is a big-time player, and he went to him early.
Ensuing Eagles drive, Wentz buys to the time, rolls to the right, finds Zach Ertz. He would be critical in this game, but hold on just a minute. During the play, Alshon Jeffrey, and this is a huge loss. The Eagles may have won this game, but they lost here. Jeffrey would be carted off the field with a foot injury.
You mentioned Zach Ertz being critical. It's because they lost receivers like Alshon Jeffrey after only having 3 healthy ones coming into the game.
They're banged up. Manning throws deep to Slayton again down the left sideline. Then here we go. Carson Wentz batted down at the line of scrimmage, but somebody else is down.
This is a big one for them.
Lane Johnson, Dan.
Yeah, it's a big one for them. They've struggled in the past to overcome this absence. They did it last night, but ideally he won't have to miss too much time. They're optimistic.
Manning to Slayton again deep. He outruns the defense and scores. And at this point, the Giants lead 17-3 as we move to the fourth quarter. Under 5 to play. Eagles trailing by a touchdown. Wentz sneaks it in right here.
Yeah, that was a big go for it right there for Coach. Backed up in his own territory, 4th and 1, had to have it, and it was a big moment for them to get that first down.
All right, then later in this drive, this is now 3rd and goal from the 2. Wentz to Ertz, who reels in the touchdown, and that ties it up, which means we go to overtime. Eagles get the ball first. Wentz flips the ball to Boston Scott. He bursts up the sideline, a huge 25-yard gain. Ball at the Giants' 39, 2nd and goal. And it will be Wentz to Zach Ertz, wide open in the end zone. The Eagles win it 23-17, the final tally.
When you lose like this, and you lose in tough competitive games like this, it's hard. Our guys fought really, really hard, and they did a good job of beating us here at the end.
Obviously, we knew it was not our first half. That was a rough one. That was an ugly one. But we just said, hey, keep believing, keep staying together. Defense was going to take care of their piece, which they did, and we were able to do enough offensively to get this win.
It didn't look pretty, obviously, early in this game, and to hang together is something we talked about this week is hanging together, and they did that, and so the guys were very, very excited.
Did you save the season tonight, Doug?
It's a start. We still got 3 games. It's a start. We know it's a 4-game season, and tonight was 1.
So last night's comeback moves the Eagles back into a tie for the NFC East with the Dallas Cowboys. Those teams meet in Philly in Week 16, with the winner likely earning the right to host either the 49ers or the Seahawks in the wild card round. We will start with a little panic or patience with the Eagles winning the NFC East. Who wants to take it? Don't all jump at once.
I would say.
You did.
Yeah,
you did.
I say panic. I mean, I thought they looked horrendous last night, and they needed overtime to beat one of the absolute worst teams, if not the worst team in the league, who refused to cover their best pass catcher, even though all their receivers were injured. I mean, it's a bold strategy by the Giants defense. And I just don't know what happens now. Alshon Jeffrey's not going to play. Lane Johnson might not play. They are really, really depleted. They come out of that game having won it, yes, but whether they won it or not, it was going to come down to the Week 16 game in Dallas. And I just don't see how, when that game rolls around, that they have as much as Dallas has in terms of, personnel with which to win it. I know Dallas has been underachieving and they can lose any game at any time, but so can the Eagles, as they've shown us, and B, I just feel like they're healthier and they're in better shape and they're just better equipped to handle these last 3 games.
Yeah, you're absolutely panicked when you look at this team, and you're panicked like you would be in any situation where you're having to rush people to the emergency room constantly, because that's what this team is doing. You come into the game with 3 healthy wide receivers. You lose Alshon Jeffrey. Obviously, Deshaun Jackson has been lost for the year, and also your best offensive lineman, Lane Johnson, goes down. Now, you're excited because Carson Wentz found a way to lead this team and at least keep you alive. But when you look at playing against the Dallas Cowboys, a team who also stinks right now, they at least have their guys. You have Ezekiel Elliott, you have Gallup, you also have Amari Cooper. So you have the players that you came into the season that you could at least count on being there, showing up, and having been in those situations, to whereas the Philadelphia Eagles are depleted. They're in a situation that even when they had their guys, they were like Nelson Aguilar. They were dropping babies, dropping balls.
I can't
all
not
kind
think
of things,
of that every
all
time.
kind of things going on.
It's in my brain.
And so, they asked Doug Peterson, did they save their season? Maybe they did for a night, but do you even want to save this and continue playing at the rate that you're losing guys?
Well, you got it. I mean, they're a mash unit. I mean, they're so depleted through injury that they're in a tough spot. But their schedule's easier, okay? The Rams are coming in to play the Cowboys. And that's going to be a tough ball
game.
Mm-hmm. So To me, when you look at it, all right, they're depleted, they're beat up, but their schedule's a lot easier. So
but the schedule doesn't matter if you lose to the Dolphins and you barely beat the Giants. Like those are easy parts of the schedule, and they went barely 1-1.
Here's what's happening. You know how it is, Coach. When you get the schedule, you look at it and you say, okay, I'm gonna circle that game because I can beat that team. I'm gonna circle this game because I can beat that team.
Right.
And what happens is when you're playing the Redskins and you're circling the Redskins, but Dwayne Haskins is also in the quarterback room going, oh my goodness, we got the Eagles. That's a win.
They're circling you.
When that happens, when everybody's circling everybody, that's not a good thing, Coach.
I understand.
Listen,
I'm trying to find a positive for them, man.
Doug Pearson said today that last night's win was the best win of Carson Wentz's career.
I agree with that, though.
Tell me why.
I
I'm not
agree
sure
with
I
that.
fully understand that.
So you look at the last 2 playoff runs the Philadelphia Eagles have made. They've both been with Nick Foles.
fair
And
enough.
then even starting out last season when this team wasn't playing well, there was a lot about the intangibles of Carson Wentz because everyone believed in his play. They believed in his talent. You have a depleted lineup last night. Zach Ertz is the one reliable receiver you have. You're playing with Boston Scott, who's a guy off the practice squad earlier this season, and you gut it out. That game wasn't necessarily about his talent. It was about his will. It was about Carson Wentz refusing to let his team lose. And we haven't seen that from him. And I know we're going to look at it. It is the New York Giants. And I gave a whole spiel on why they stink and why Carson Wentz would do well yesterday. But it was.
I was here for that.
You were here, but it was good to see him dig deep and find a way to lead a team and be the guy out in front of a team that probably shouldn't have won a game.
Quickly, before we go, and let's switch gears, will we see Eli Manning next week again?
It's going to depend on how Daniel Jones practices this week, if he can practice
So
this
if
week.
he's ready, he comes right back.
Yes, if he's healthy enough to play, they will play Daniel Jones. They've made that clear. But Pat Shurmur said today they have yet to really get Daniel Jones out there and see how that ankle is holding up this week. My sense is that it'll be at least another week with Eli, but they're leaving open the possibility that Jones could come back.
It was fun to see him play well early.
It was.
It was fun. I thought it was. So. All right, ahead on NFL Live, we'll have the latest on the Patriots videotaping incident from over the weekend. You will hear from head coach Bill Belichick. Plus, we've had our share of trick plays this season, but last night, John Dornbach showed Randy Moss and the Countdown Crew a trick of his own.